Here is yet another RuneScape retrospective. RuneScape just hit its 20th anniversary in January of 2021, and this video is basically a love letter to a game that has stuck with me on and off since my childhood. A platform that has brought me together to form lifelong friendships with strangers and friends alike. RuneScape's premise is beautifully simplistic. A point-and-click browser-based game meant that it was universally accessible by almost anyone. Old school RuneScape was initially pitched as a money grab that was only supposed to last a year, but garnered greater success due to the love and nurture of passionate Jagex mods, who made it succeed the original base game. In my ventures exploring the game as a kid, I came across Brian's Battle Axe Bazaar store in Port Sarim, and I had an instant obsession with obtaining an adamant battle axe. It cost a whopping 4,160 GP. I headed off to the only place that I knew that would provide the suitable profits, goblins. Who knows how long I grinded these for, and God knows how many I killed, because they only have a chance to drop between 1 and 20 GP. I sought the help of my friends and culminated a list of some of our favourite childhood memories. I ripped these straight from our Facebook group chat. There was brainless woodcutting, yet somehow enjoying it, trying to equip a goblin male, thinking an abyssal whip is a string of sausages, doing heaps of Fists of Gothic since runes were free, spending 2 straight hours at V West trying to sell 100k worth of fish or some shit, fancy boots, killing giant spiders, PK videos with loud as fuck rock music, Tanoob show, Ice Barrage giving you a heart attack, the bot gear setup with the D-Long, trying to telegrab all the gold at V West basement, thinking I'll have a monopoly on oak logs after cutting 1000, thinking I was halfway to 99 mining after hitting 50, making friends from overseas, shout out to Fabalso1, I know you're still out there dude, and being stuck with an 80 plate body because you're too scared of Elvarg. So here's something that I'd forgotten about. When I was growing up, I had a collection of drawings that I made myself and commissioned my brother to do, and I stuck these up next to my bed in my room. And look, I don't know if you can tell which was the artistically challenged son. I don't know whether that makes it obvious or not. Got some more here. But yeah, look, it's fair to say that I was pretty obsessed when I was playing this game. Oh shit! Little mixtape I was brewing up in the stew. Alright, so this one here, this was another one of my brothers, and we submitted this one to the RuneScape gallery that they used to have. And honestly, it was pretty clean. Like, I don't know how this didn't make it through. I think I was feeling pretty inspired after that one, because this is my attempt at humour, Jesus Christ. Yeah, and we got a few more in here, but yeah. No, I mean, I'm glad that my mum kept these drawings, because I didn't even know I still had these when I was coming to make this video, so. So in my room I've got some RuneScape memorabilia. I've got the official handbook that they had at the Scholastic book fairs at school. And then over there I've got a little RuneScape party hat, an official one, and this is one that all my RuneScape friends and I have each. And to go along with that, got a little RuneScape coffee mug that one of my boys got me. That reminds me of a pretty fond memory I have with my first sleepover with those boys. It was in the dead of winter and it involved a modern day LAN party session in my room. There was 5 of us total. And I just remember my brother just cracking open the door at one stage and stuck his head in, and he could not believe the stench. He was just like, what the fuck? It just smells like sweaty teenagers and Doritos in here. And then he was just laughing at my friend who'd set up by the wide open window because he just wanted some fresh air. Okay, so back in 2010 when I was 11 years old, my older 14-year-old brother had just started dabbling in economics and was telling me about long-term investments and that I should purchase obsidian capes. He told me about how in marketing, items naturally rise and they fall, as we can see here, and that's the perfect time to buy them because they will spike back up and then you sell off for a profit. At the time I had about 13 million, and I was so convinced by my brother that I liquidated more money to go up to 17 million. He assured me he would have done likewise if he had the funds, and that he was missing out on a fortune. Unfortunately, I think he might have done a little miscalculation because instead of buying here, we bought them over here, and as we can see, about a year later, they went down to about 35k each. At that point, I basically quit I had nothing left on my account and yeah, nothing left to play for. I was essentially scammed by my own brother. Thing is, I remember guilt tripping him for losing all my money, and he offered to help pay me back, so I tasked him to killing green dragons, but that was pretty short-lived because he gave up pretty quick. Now, I come to make this video, if we zoom out to the present day, the man was playing the long game. Now, of course, I've got to check my report logs, and these are up to 13 years old, and looking back, it really offers some valuable insight into how the mind of a 10-year-old operates. Alrighty, here we go. This is one from 2008, so like 13 years ago. There's not like a whole lot of substance to this one, so I'm just going to sort of bounce around to where it gets exciting. I think I'm at Fist of Gothics here, and anyway, someone in Quick Chat just says, I like your pet, and I say, what pet? And he goes, your mum. He goes, XD. I hit him with a classic noob. And then, you know, it's just back and forth, calling each other noobs, saying how we could just kill each other real easy. And anyway, it escalates here. I call noob and your dick. And I have to spell it out one letter at a time because otherwise it gets censored. Anyway, this guy's so cringe, he just reports me. And anyway, it sort of just keeps going. He goes, I love your mother, she's really fat, I like that. And here's my comeback. I hit him with the, well, you must be stupid because she's actually an athlete. And then he goes, I like it too. And then to that I say, if I could, I would punch you in the face. Anyway, it keeps going. I don't really know how we get to here. I just tell him, you must be gay. and then he goes, what? And then I just call him gay again. And that's the end. That's the end of the argument. I think I won. I must have been on a bit of a rebellious streak because in 2008 I got another report, and a life mistake I made when I was appealing for this one was I put in my actual date of birth of 10 years old, which was under the requirement of 13, and that slapped Night Ajax 9 with a quick chat ban. And look, if we review the evidence, I pretty much put the cuffs on myself here. I'm only 10. Plus I'm a freaking boy. Oh, Jesus. Are you gay again? And seriously, I'm only 10. So I think that was pretty much a case open and closed for the Jagex boys. And I just want to quickly vent about Quick Chat, because it was honestly just the most cancerous thing. They brought it in due to legal restrictions, and it was given to anyone under the age of 13. And guys, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I haven't cried much in my life, but when I stayed home sick that day and discovered that my account had been Quick Chat restricted, I called my mum and I bawled my eyes out. And I feel like my mum was a bit unsympathetic, telling me that staying home is not for playing video games, it's for being sick. So I'm sure you can just picture my frustration, because no longer could I properly respond to my friends, I couldn't properly mouth strangers either as my former self would have. I was 14 when Old School was introduced. Jesus, that was 8 years ago. It saw a massive resurgence in players who had long quit the game, drawing my friends and I back in. Those first holidays in year 9, when Old School was released, I fucked up my sleeping pattern completely. I have this vivid memory of those holidays where I was Skyping with my boys until 2:30 AM in my brother's room, and then he eventually had enough and kicked me out of his room so we could finally get to sleep. Hopped back on Skype, and then I was just smelting cannonballs until 8:30 in the morning for money. Unfortunately, I didn't have the foresight to consider how this would affect returning to school, because I do remember that first morning back, and in the shower I was just wishing that the school bus had run me over. Honestly, I was that wrecked. In the year following graduating school, kids either moved on to study at university, started working, or travelled the world. Me, on the other hand, started up a hardcore Iron Man account. The difference between hardcore and normal Iron Man mode was that obviously there was the same restrictions of not being able to access a bank or trade with other players, but you got a special little icon that was red instead of the usual white, and that just showed how crazy you were at the game because you hadn't died yet. For 3 months I played this mode, and my god, it was some of the most fun I ever had playing. Actually having motivation to complete quests, using non-efficient training methods and earning everything yourself and having no idea what to do. I had massive deja vu, like I was a child again. I definitely shaved off a few years of my life, as I recall having 3 nightmares, which I'll get to later. When people reminisce about the old days of RuneScape, they often discuss that nostalgia of everyone not knowing what they're doing so that the game was never about efficiency. Playing in this mode brought back a lot of that feeling for me. Watching popular YouTubers scrambling and doing all sorts of different training methods breathed life back into the game. I knew right from the start that I had no chance of surpassing the best. I was just playing casually. In the early days of starting my hardcore Iron Man, one of the worst grinds I did on the account was the agility pyramid. I went from 56 to 70 agility, and it was also that I could use that elusive sewer pipe shortcut at Blue Dragons, but it also gave me a dirty little cash stack to get me going. But yeah, look, I did the calculations and it was about 20 hours, and that's being modest. And the sad thing is, that's half a week's work for a sane person. But I guess what's even sadder is that it doesn't even compare to the people that were going sweaty in this mode. At least I can proudly say that I didn't go to the extremities of scheduling all-nighters once a week so that I could stretch out more XP. But on the bright side, it does really just showcase the game's beauty of just being a multitasking game, because I watched a couple of TV shows. I watched all of Bacano and 2 seasons of Hannibal, so yeah, pretty productive in the end, I thought. Okay, so I remember having 3 nightmares when I was playing my hardcore Iron Man. Understandably, there was so much stress on trying to keep that hardcore status that it invaded my dream space, and look, it is a bit of a low point. I'm not proud to talk about it, but anyway, what had happened was, I was in Varrock, and I saw the YouTuber A Friend, who was, you know, a bit of a legend at the time, and in my defense, I was watching YouTubers like him and many others playing their hardcores, because, you know, I was so engrossed in it, and I was just making notes, and I was just loving it. Anyway, I saw him, and I ran over to him, and then a PK came out of nowhere in a safe zone, and hit him with Ice Barrage, which hit me as well. And to that, I remember just shaking myself awake, and I was just like in a hot sweat. And then when I finally grounded myself back in the real world, I was just so happy that I hadn't lost my status. I was just so pleased. And then, yeah, and then I was just like, nah, what the fuck? Having a nightmare about a video game like that. Like, it was too real. Yeah, look, it is what it is, boys. What else can you say? And I'm sorry, I just can't remember what the other 2 dreams were. Honestly, I think I just suppressed them from my memory, probably out of embarrassment, or I think I just forgot, really. Of course, the number one question you get asked as an ex-hardcore Iron Man player is, how did you die? Top dogs were getting dinked by high-level bosses. Disconnecting was also very common. So what honourable death did I give Dandelion when he died at rank 404 after 4 months of playing? Thing is, I had it all mapped out. I thought I had the game figured out. I had a Ring of Life on, and I had a max HP of 76, which meant that if I went down to 7 or less health, I would get teleported out and saved. See, problem was, Tureth has a max hit of 10 and I died. So how did I feel afterwards? Honestly, I think there was a bit of relief there, because now I didn't have to worry about having nightmares and trying to keep my hardcore status icon. But I guess the icon meant a bit more to me than I thought, because after that I pretty much just quit. At the moment, my friends and I are probably on the longest hiatus since playing. We picked it up in Trailblazers last year for a brief month, but it was hard to keep playing knowing that your stats had reset. It just wasn't quite the same. We're really just pining for the release of Group Iron Man. It'd be a new fresh challenge for streamers, players, content creators, and I think it'd breathe new life back into the game again. We're a bit skeptical, however, since it was initially teased 2 years ago, but supposedly it is supposed to come out this year. If I've inspired you to pick up the game, I'd highly recommend an Iron Man. Not only do you become an obnoxious piece of shit, but it's also filthy fun. Anyway, I think to wrap it all up, there's a famous saying in the RuneScape community: you never quit, you just take breaks. I'll be back. Yeah boys, waterfall quest done. Ah fuck! I didn't put the ashes in the goblet. Uh-oh.
You do not have the guide, Hayden, on your second monitor.
I did not read the do not click take treasure. Woo! Let's go, baby! Woo! Hell yeah! Hello? Who's there? Ah! Sword on! Attack!
You're screaming, mate.
Mate, you jumped dead, mate.
You knew it was coming.
I didn't know.
I wasn't
You
looking
don't
at the
know.
stream when it happened.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid.
What's going on?
Oh,
I had a fucking RuneScape dream this one. Fucking anxiety dream. I can't remember. It was something like what I lost something. I think I died, and I didn't know where I died, and I was just running around looking for my grave. Or it was like I was doing something and I forgot. Like I was in Barrows and I forgot something, and I was just like fucking cringe.
We're about to fight.
Oh, there's
we're about
tip
to be out of water.
manipulation. There's tip
We're
manipulation.
literally about to fucking drain the ocean.
We're about to bad lad chug drink
Yes.
the ocean.
How do we do this?
Just use
it's Pycrft.
All you do is use a
the
rope
jungle.
and-
Boing, 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 boing. Ooh.
Indeed.
Headlines.
Unse.
Oh, you hit so pussy,
I'm DDS specking.
It's not even
me.
me.
Hey, oh, it's Bailey?
I
You're
just,
mouthing Bailey. Lick.
Alex, my DDS spec just did 30 damage in one.
Yeah.
Oleg, watch your
Correct.
mouth, little man.